Come on in. Good morning and welcome to Transwest Truck Trailer RV. My name is Katie O'Neill and I am so excited to bring you today's video. This is the deal of the year and I'm coming to you live from Transwest Truck Trailer RV. My name is Katie O'Neill. You can find me at 303-562-8659. And as usual, I'm here on a Monday morning and I love to start my RV videos from the inside out. So Jody, go ahead and take her on back. Oh, look at that slow roll through that beautiful blue tile backsplash. We're going to find that in the rear bathroom as well. This is a 2025 Verona LRB. This is a bath and a half model, mid-entry, Super C. That's right, my favorite. And for those of you who know me well, I have an all-white Super C as well. So this coach holds near and dear to my heart. And honestly, if I had had this RV to start off with, I don't even know if I'd have my Superstar right now. Not that I don't love my Superstar, but this coach has it all. It has a bunk. It has 2 bathrooms. It's on the M2 106 Plus chassis. It's got 360 horsepower, 1,150 foot-pounds of torque, a 20,000-pound towing capacity, and really, really nice finishes. Solid maple cabinetry in the Lakewood. And here in this rear bath, you can see we've got a 35-inch radius shower. This new textured insert, something we came out with a few years ago, but as you'll see, it's got a really nice seat down below. And they've moved the faucet from when I bought my first Verona back in 2020 to the top. And it's also no longer something that when you sit down to shave your legs, it's going to turn the hot water off. Another nice addition is they put the shower head on a slide. And they've also added a soap tray to the bottom of it so you can keep your soap dish where you need it, so you don't have to bend over or try to, it's funny, I keep my my shampoo and conditioner on the floor of my shower. Here, I could have my soap dish right there at eye level, which would be handy. Now, another thing that I really like about this coach is this space right here. So I love to get ready in my bathroom in the morning, and the fact that I could put my magnifying mirror here, have a little tray that had all of my makeup and everything down below, and these are adjustable shelves, so I could put different types of products in and have them fit. I love this beautiful porcelain tile backsplash. And something I mention a lot is I love a seamless sink. It's so nice to be able to take care of something where this nice polished surface, hard surface countertop blends into that sink directly, so there's no lip here to clean. And of course also that single faucet. Now another feature of this coach, which we should mention, is that when you move into the LE level, you get a few things standard in 2025 that you didn't get on the Verona LE. The reason I mention this is because in 2026, if you watch my last Verona video, you'll see that you do get the 450D Aqua Hot unit. Very important feature of this coach. That 450D has enough hot water to keep up with not only your hydronic heat, which is a tube of liquid that comes out of that boiler system and goes all the way under the underside of the coach and then forces air over that hot tube of liquid. It also gives you a much hotter shower experience. So you're going to have a hotter tankless hot water heater. I'm giving you a warmer shower. In my Verona, not Verona LE, my 40 VBH Verona that I had in 2020, that was always an issue with me, is that it was a little tepid in terms of the temperature of the water. I like it really hot. This coach supplies that. The reason I'm mentioning that this is the deal of the year is we are rapidly eclipsing 2025. It's hard to believe. But as we do, the 2026s are here. They're coming in now, and they are $33,185 more from list to list year over year. So that $33,000 price increase is money that you would save on this coach automatically before the discount that we would provide on the unit. So if you're out there looking at this product and you've been sitting on the sidelines, it's time to jump. This is an opportunity for you to save a ton of money. Make sure you reach out to me and call me. It's the reason I make these videos. But I can walk you through this coach individually on a FaceTime if this isn't enough information. But for instance, take a look at this beautiful porcelain floor. This is also a standard feature on the LE. I also love the amount of storage that you have under the sink here. So lots of room for all of your towels. And then down below, a great place to keep your cleaning supplies. And it's interesting, there's actually some linoleum tile underneath there where all of those fittings are. So even though this coach is solid tile throughout, in the places where there's no tile, they've still taken care to finish that area. And then over here we have another great feature of this product. The adjustable shelves in the rear medicine cabinet make for a very handy experience. And this goes all the way up. So if you have any tall bottles of hairspray, things along those lines, those will fit here in this shelf as well. And then on top of it, a great place to keep all of your black water treatment. And then also a huge cabinet here to keep extra kitchen towels, linens, anything along those lines that you might want to take with you on your trip. Also, you know, bins with spare supplies, things that you don't use get tucked back here, like batteries, you know, just the kind of stuff that you need to have with you on your trip, but maybe you're not using all the time. So if you tune in, I hope that he'll show this to you. We just made a video on this coach with Andrew Steele, so if my views don't get this coach sold, his certainly will. And when he was in here, I actually had the privilege of locking him in the shower. Usually we reserve this for just naughty children, but it also will hold squirrely video stars as well. So Andrew, if you're watching this morning, it was super fun to have you. And I do appreciate, he was pretty intrigued by the deal on this coach as well. Just a great value proposition for anyone who's looking to get off the beaten path, that wants to do some boondocking. One of the nice features of this coach, of course, is all of this maple cabinetry that's made in Elkhart, Indiana, is so solid. It's so robust. And then as you can see, very nice, simple locking features. You can tell that this is unlocked or locked before you hit the road. Really easy to snap. But also I would say that the bedroom space in this coach is really nice. So first and foremost, I love storage. It's always a hard thing on a coach that doesn't have a huge rear closet to find a place to keep your shoes. Take a look at these drawers here. All of these drawers are full extension, soft close, and these could be great for some tennies, flip-flops, cowboy boots, whatever you may have. And then you can keep all your clothing here in these huge pocket drawers that we have. And everybody could have a wardrobe of their own as well. And the lights come on automatically when you open the cabinet. You've got that nice soft touch ceiling there. Again, just really robust, nice hinges, well constructed. You've got a Samsung Smart TV overhead, MCD day and night shades. But one of the nice aspects of this nightshade, I love the way they do this oatmeal finish. So in this interior decor, instead of feeling like you've got a big black hole where your black shade is when you've got it closed, it's still nice and light. And we actually shot one of our videos when Andrew was out here with all the blinds drawn because of the fact that it was so nice and light looking in the coach, even with the shades drawn. Now, I also wanted to point out that here in this LE, you are going to have dovetailed drawers. And I love this little drawer right here that you can keep your sunglasses in, your wallet, any of those types of things. And then this is going to be a place where you could keep, if you wanted to, a PlayStation, any kind of DVD player. But this is a smart TV. So with a smart TV, these days we are doing a lot of Starlink. A lot of clients will call in and ask me how we're doing dual Starlinks. That is a really good move. I've got a client here this morning. He's actually got a Bunk model King Air I built for him earlier this year. And when he had a slide issue, he had to slide out into a tree and broke a window. When that happened, he was having a really hard time calling anybody because he was under a canopy of trees. The solution to that is to put a very simple plug underneath and to run 2 Starlink units. A lot of people are doing that, but if you do that, you don't have to actually have any kind of cable system. And because you can turn Starlink on and off individually, you can choose to use the router that has the type of coverage that you need, whether it be, using a tripod mount, or if you need to use the one that's on top of your coach, you can choose to use either so you're not double spending. Now under here, I really wanted to point this out because I think it's interesting how we do these 2 75-gallon freshwater tanks in the center of the coach. Winterization is very easy. You can see that whole setup right there. But one of the reasons that we do these internal freshwater tanks is all of the weight is then put into the center of the coach. So this is giving us a really nice track going down the road. So by moving these water tanks inside, we also prevent them from freezing. So we've got 110 volts on our gray and black water tanks, which are both 75 gallon, but this 150 gallons of fresh water is inside of the coach, where when you've got the air conditioning on, it's gonna stay cooler. When you've got the heat on, it's gonna stay warmer. And so you're not going to have to worry about heating or cooling your water source as much in a Renegade Verona LE. Another feature I wanted to point out is something that I think is really nice. Again, adjustable shelves in your nightstand. So if you're going to hold a water bottle in there, you could take one shelf out, but still keep all of your medication up on that top shelf. So things that you may not want to keep in your medicine cabinet when you're prying eyes, or if you just have something that you need to remember to take every night, really nice to be able to keep it there. And then another feature that I love is that on both sides of this, you've got this ledge. So if you are in here watching a movie, you can keep your bottle of water, your LaCroix, your glass of wine right here on your ledge, and your phone can be plugged in here. And because of this construction, you're not going to knock it out of the plug at night. Also, Renegade does a fantastic job with overhead storage. And with our two 110 outlets over the top, you can also keep, any kind of, laptop, wireless charging device charging and out of sight while you're camping. You'll notice here we have a control panel for all of your lights, as well as on and off for your reading lights. These are adjustable, so you can change the direction of where you're reading. Oh, there we go. So if you wanted to, tilt it forward or back so that you could have better light on your book, you could do that. But really important to note that with the Renegade LE or any of the Renegades, you're going to have a system where you can operate your lights, your generator, your slides. You can look at your tank levels. You can check your battery charge, all within the app on your phone. But what's really interesting about this system is because this is the Vega Touch, this app that we are using, which is the Eclipse level as opposed to the Mira. The Eclipse level has a Wi-Fi ability. So again, with Starlink, if you've got Wi-Fi turned on and you want to be able to check tank levels or temperatures in your coach, you can do that with your app. The other thing that's important to point out is that this coach also has a ceiling fan. So although this is centrally ducted and we've got really nice air conditioning throughout the coach, the way that Renegade makes these coaches allows for this slide to come in and go over the top of that ceiling fan, so you can actually have that circulation. And you'll see that slide's got that really beautiful ambient light that's over the top of it. So lighting is something else that's really great about this coach. Another fantastic feature of this product is the fact that your washer and dryer unit, first of all, are separated. So they're on very robust, solid shelves. You're not going to have any rattling around. Your Splendide washer and dryer have really nice settings. The dryer, I fluff my towels every time I get out of the shower. I could do that in this coach without having to worry about company seeing me, because there is a really nice pocket door right here. So if I'm getting dressed in the morning and taking a shower, I can have my privacy, get my towels in the dryer, make my bed, and then come out looking $1 million bucks. The other thing I really like about this, though, is this is the narrowest portion of this coach. So for those of you that are looking to do laundry while you're driving, when this mattress tucks in to the headboard over here, you can actually fold all of your things. There's enough room over here where you could evenly stack out all of your towels, all of your linens, all of your t-shirts, shorts. You could separate all the laundry for the entire family. And then when you get to your destination, instead of doing laundry and cleaning up and getting ready to go camping at your next campsite, you can have all of that done, and everybody can come and just take their things and put them away. That's how we do it in our household. I like to do the laundry. I'm a bit of a control freak. I like to have the right fabric softener, ratio, etc. But I still expect my kids to put all their stuff away. Okay, so another great feature of this coach, again, that seamless undermount sink, and then also a big triangular medicine cabinet here. If you are the early riser and you're up first in the morning, this is a great place to keep your flat iron and your hair dryer as well. And then underneath, again, huge storage. This is probably where I would keep all of the cleaning supplies. And again, you can see that they've even finished, again, the bottom of this cabinet. Since it's not that tile, it's actually cut out. None of this is going to be making rattling noises. It's all set and cut out to be relevant to what's underneath it. So this is a huge move for me. In my Verona, all of my electronics were in the kitchen. So my breaker panels, which are separated so that I know which ones are going to run off of my inverter and which ones need to have the generator running, they're broken up into two different segments. But having them out of my kitchen is really handy. Also having this hydronic heat here. This register, if you turn this on high in the morning, you don't have to worry about turning on heated floors or anything like that, because it's actually going to blow warm air onto that tile and keep your little toesies warm while you're getting ready, which I think is super great. And then up here we have even more storage. So again, great place for things like bug spray, maybe your suntan or sunblock and suntan lotion. Any of those things, maybe a first aid kit, right? So everything right next to the door. So if anything was to happen, you'd be really close to that area. And then another thing I wanted just to point out is I love the lighting that they have throughout this coach. So you've got these really nice lights in this coach that are not too contemporary, not old-fashioned and stodgy. So, you know, really nice, timeless look. And then, of course, in all of the bathrooms, we have the fan. And it's interesting. One of the things that's most important to me is you can control your fan speed right here. So if you are in the office and you need some fresh air, it's very easy to attain that without having to move anywhere. Also, there is a robe hook in here still. Definitely, I would call this as the place I would hang my, you know, like lightweight raincoat. If we were camping and I wanted to be able to hang something up, I'd be like, hey, Mom gets dibs on that little hook right there. I'm a big fan of having robe hooks. If you watch my videos, you know that. Another feature I love about this coach, so how smart is it that you can have a recliner, and I am going to go ahead and put this all the way back just to show you how much room you have, because this is really, really roomy. And not only that, I could take a nap, A, but B, our mics are working. So for a few of our videos recently, I've had to not sit down in a coach, and I haven't been able to show you the full lounge recline in these recliners. But I love these recliners in this LE level of coach. I especially love the fact that I have a cup holder here, but I have a place here for chips and salsa. But most importantly, if I have friends over and I want to have a couch, I have a couch. How killer is that? Now, why would that be important? Because look at the size of this television. So this 50-inch flat screen TV is not only fantastic, but it also removes from the wall, so you can tilt it. So if you had friends that were sitting in the booth, for instance, and everyone wanted to watch the movie, you could do that. And you have all of this counter space where you could put out, you know, popcorn, some Mike and Ike, some Junior Mints, all the things that you would have for movie night, and everyone could sit back and watch a movie together. And then on both sides of this television, you have cabinets that open, and they access this huge cabinet behind the television. This is a great place to keep all sorts of stuff, especially if you are a gamer and you want to keep your PlayStation back there. Holy mackerel. And then look at how well built in this soundbar is. So I have to tell you, in terms of build quality, I have a lot of people who come in and shop with me. I've got to tell you, you can be looking at a Newmar or a Renegade, and I'm going to give you a lot of reasons that I like both. There's always pluses and minuses for all manufacturers. All products do things differently. But really, if you're looking at a Super C, those are the top two brands that you really should consider driving side by side. And with the M2 106 Plus chassis now, where you can actually have steering wheel controls, it's a really, really enhanced driving experience. Since I purchased my coach, I still struggle right now with the fact that I have to reach over and look at my dash. Being able to turn the volume on and up, or up and down, and being able to answer my phone or hang up off of the steering column is a huge safety feature to me. Another feature of this coach that I like a lot is, first of all, 2 junk drawers, right? You can put your beautiful glass baubles in your fireplace if you would like. If you would not like to have your beautiful glass baubles, you can leave it unbaubleless. But this coach has a fireplace that puts out a ton of heat. So for anybody who is camping, especially if you're plugged into 50 amp and you want to keep your coach nice and warm, but you want it to have that nice quiet heat, There's no fan with this like you would have with your hydronic heat or with your two 15,000 BTU heat pumps. So again, two 15,000 BTU Mach 3 air conditioners and heat pumps. Those are going to be good for you until about 38 or so degrees, and then they kind of start blowing in tepid air. This little guy though is going to be putting out really great heat in a very quiet function. It won't be doing the thing that I love that this would be doing, blowing that heat right there onto the warm spot on my tile floors. But you know, that's quite all right. The other thing I love about this, and I think we talked about it briefly, again, is my ability to use this Vega Touch Eclipse system with my phone. So if I'm getting into camp late at night and I want to be able to put my slides out without, you know, getting the kids or my wife out, you know, to help me, I can do that without worrying about crashing the coach. Jody, do you remember when I dropped the keys in the sink? I just remembered I did that. Whoa, this is a huge, huge deep basin undermount stainless steel sink. It's pointed to drain in the center. It's got spray and pour. It's also, again, got really nice MCD shades, and most importantly, there's a window behind the kitchen, so if you are cooking, you can get some fresh air coming in. A great place to keep all of your plates, pots and pans, dishes in this kitchen. So first of all, I'd say probably glassware up there, but if you do have any kind of pots and pans, or you know, if you want to be like me when you grow up, you could do all your spatulas and such here. I love putting my coffee cups upside down in a drawer, so that could be really useful. There's so much space in here. You could put the coffee cups all the way at the back and then put the things that you're using for cooking closer to the front. I mean, it's just, there's so many possibilities. And then take a look underneath here. So this is one of the few coaches where you could actually fit a full-size trash can. And yes, that is a subwoofer that ties in with the sound bar for your surround sound system as well. And then over here, because that whole control panel is now in the bathroom, you can keep all of your big pots and pans. If you do crawfish boils, or maybe you've got a rice cooker, any of those things you can keep here underneath. This will also be a great place to be able to keep your coffee pot, right? Or your toaster oven. Another feature that I love about this coach is the induction cooktop. The nice thing about this coach being all electric with no propane on board is that this cooktop will heat water at about 1/3 of the time at altitude compared to one that has a propane cooktop. The other thing that's nice about it is if I was to put a paper towel down on top of this cooktop and boil a pot of water, it wouldn't catch on fire. So if you've got littles that are helping you make breakfast in the morning, this is a really great feature. Now, as I mentioned, between both manufacturers, there's pluses and minuses. I take my True Induction cooktop outside every morning. That is nice, and I make French toast outside. I make bacon outside. We cook fish outside. This one is not removable, so you would have to purchase a second one. Good news is they have a ton of them out there. I bought one for the apartment above my garage that I rent out to traveling nurses. It has 2 burners, and it actually has a griddle that goes on top of it. Very inexpensive on Amazon, but this True Induction isn't just good for those of you who are going to be cooking inside. I really recommend if you're cooking outside, it's not affected by the wind and you get that same temperature every single time regardless of altitude. So another feature that I really like about Renegade is the fact that they make their latch systems very, very identifiable. You can see when something's open or not open. And then this is a really nice convection and microwave oven. And it also has what's called slim fry. So it might not be as powerful as a true air fryer, but you know, things, tater tots, French fries, things along those lines are all going to cook very well in here. Fish sticks, I heard someone tell me the other day, so I think that that's a pretty big bonus. And then again, I know I mentioned this on our way in, but I love this baby blue textured and just, it's such an elegant looking tile backsplash, and it pairs really nicely with these countertops, which have just a little bit of beigey gray in them. So same thing with this Lakewood. If you're a gray fan or a beige fan, this coach will suit either one of you. And then you've got 5 drawers total, 3 of these smaller drawers for pullouts. Great place to keep tea, any of your canned goods. And then for these deeper ones, you could keep those boxes that have all of your cereal in them. Those XOXO containers are priceless. Crackers. I do recommend when you're camping, remove your stuff out of the cardboard, guys. Those mice can smell it. And if you've ever had a mouse in your coach, God, I think I've got 3 so far. It's really hard to get them out. They make a big mess. You have to clean everything. You have to take everything out of the cabinets. You have to sterilize everything. Just take your stuff out of the cardboard, you guys. Put it in containers before you put it into your pantry, and you will not have those little suckers smelling everything that you're doing. I think in 2022 or 21, they took the handles off of this door. It's funny, my refrigerator at home also does not have handles on it. I just like the clean look. But they've been using this same 18 cubic foot Samsung refrigerator and everything since I bought my last coach from Renegade. I love this. It's nice, big, open space. I still have all the containers I bought for when I had this. What's so nice about this is you can buy a number of containers. We put them in the microwave. We put them in the refrigerator, whether open or closed. That way things aren't sliding around. They just all kind of fit nicely in with each other. But also you have a really nice, deep ice maker and storage area in your 3-door residential refrigerator. One thing that I didn't have, which is new for 2024 moving forward, so you've got this little guy, right? It's magnetic. You know when he's locked and he's in place. You just push the little button and pull him up and he comes right out. But if you don't push the button, he won't come out. So great way to be able to keep your goods where they belong while you're going down the road. With my Newmar, I can't see whether or not this is in place. So like last time we left, I called my boyfriend and he was following me in our truck and we were heading up to, I don't know if we were going to Palisade or Creed. It was one of our trips that we've taken this year. And I called him and I said, did you remember to lock the refrigerator? And he's like, I don't know. And he hadn't. So I had to pull over on the side of the road and like walk back and, you know, lock the refrigerator because that's a big deal. You don't want to have a problem with that. Okay, so other things that I love about this coach, I love the fact that we've got all of these windows that open for cross ventilation. You get that beautiful pine smell. But check this out, right behind this couch, you've got a really nice countertop. So I love the fact that you've got a really nice countertop in this coach because at the end of the day, if you are looking to put up like little decorations, I always have like a candle I put out that smells really good. I've got little, you know, RV decorations. You could put a picture out there. It's just nice to have like a little ledge to put things on that doesn't get disturbed. I have to move everything off the top of my TV cover if I decide to watch a movie. Being that we've used it once in the last 2 years, it's not a huge deal for me, but I do have to move everything because my televator pops up there. And needless to say, in this fantastic floor plan, you don't have to worry about a televator. That's another feature. So when you're looking at the difference between LEs and Veronas, up until 2026, one of the biggest dividing features was going to be that 450D Aqua Hot unit. Starting in 2026, the LE has that. Tile floors, though, is still a big differentiating feature on this coach. And then the other differentiating feature that I think is interesting is that on the LE, you can get the 540 amp hours of batteries with the two 270 amp hour batteries that come on this coach. If you want to go into lithium, you could even bring that up to 4 of those 270 amp hour batteries. Whereas on the Verona, you're going to have 100 amp hour batteries. They typically come with 3 or 4, which is 300 to 400 amp hours of storage, versus this with just 2 batteries having 540 amp hours of storage. So that's a big deal. Now you'll notice that this whole 12 feet of storage space up top is uniform. This is one of my very favorite features of my Verona. I still miss it to this day. I had so many shoe boxes labeled A through Z that had, you know, outdoor kitchen supplies, flashlights, batteries, all that stuff. Now I know I told you you could put your batteries in the bathroom in the back of this one. I only had a 36-foot Verona. If I had had a 40-foot Verona that had a built-in bunk over cab, which was not available in 2020, so it wasn't like I was silly. They just didn't make it yet. If I had had this bunk over cab, though, I may not have got a new coach because I use my bunk more often than not for storage. So I could keep all of my bins up here. And then when my son or daughter went camping with me, I would be able to have, you know, very easily, well, Stella's, she's pretty vertically challenged. I think she's 5'2", so she'd have to fit diagonally in that sleeper booth. But my son, you know, 5'11", he would fit really well up top here. And so I do like having the flexibility of taking my kids with me and them having places to sleep in the coach. In my bunk model, I do like the fact that they can kind of close the door and sleep in. I know that this curtain would probably be shut with my daughter until about 10. My son, on the other hand, he'd probably be at the top of a mountain by, I don't know, 4 or 5 in the morning. He gets up at like 1 or 2 and starts doing these 14ers. But you know, it's nice to have this storage, because in this storage area, you know, first of all, you can control everything up here, so you can, you know, close and open your shade. Again, from your phone, from the control panel, or the kids could do it here if they're up here sleeping. They've got their own little cubby to keep all of their AirPods, their phone cords, you know, whatever it is that they need, their iPhones, of course. They've got their own television, so if they wanted to be able to do, you know, homework on the road. I know my son does a ton of stuff that he needs to watch, you know, different informational lectures and such for college. Stella would probably just be watching like another one of her myriads of TV shows. These kids, they like, I don't know, they watch so many TV shows, I can't keep up with all of them anymore. But regardless, they would have their own privacy. And then when they were doing homework, if they wanted to sit here, they would both have USB and Type-C, A and C ports, as well as 110s, and a place to keep their pops. So if you took a turn a little tighter than you expected, everything wouldn't go skittering onto the floor. So this would have been a really, really nice layout for our family had it been available. That bunk makes all of the difference though, because you don't have to worry about whether or not you're going to melt all of your marshmallows and chocolate for your s'mores. You could keep fishing tackle supplies in here. Anything that you don't want too hot or too cold. Wine, for instance. All of those things you can keep in the coach as opposed to the bays underneath. And it's not because the LE doesn't have enough storage. It has enough storage. It's because things get hot going down hot asphalt, and things get cold when you park them outside somewhere chilly overnight. And not everything likes to be frozen or cooked all the time. So these bunks make really big difference in my estimation. And of course you can get them in a Class A, but you don't have that same execution where it's really just kind of a if you need it type of situation. Now I'm going to take this out just to show you how deep the storage is in here. So those of you who watch my videos know I keep all my plates and dishes underneath my booths. So this is where I would keep my dishes. I'd keep my placemats over there. That's so big. That's almost as big as me. That's a lot of storage underneath here. There are 2 seat belts facing forward and 2 in the chairs and 2 in the front. So this has enough seat belts for 6 people. And then this drops down to make, as I mentioned earlier, about a 5-foot wide booth. But most importantly, if you are all sitting around watching a movie, you have these really nice areas where you can sit down and get comfortable. So you could certainly fit the whole family around for movie night if necessary. Now, one of the most important features of any coach, of course, is living space. This is something that no one else does like Renegade. So I'm going to show you the living space now, but let me go ahead and close these slides and wait until you see the walking space. So for those of you that have a big fat dog, oh, I don't need to do that one. We're going to leave the rear slide out just so I can show you how they work. But for those of you who have a big fat dog, or maybe just a bum ankle or a bad knee or whatever it may be, it is so killer to see how much space is actually in this coach. Slow and steady wins the race. There she goes. And let's go ahead and do the front. I love the way they just rise up out of that little pocket. Oops. There we go. Gotta hold the button, Katie. And I normally do this on my phone on the outside, but this is so impressive. So, I mean, literally, because this is not on a televator, in the Renegade Verona, typically you'll find that the TV's above the door. This is super, super nice. You could sit here and the kids could watch a movie, all of them. Like you could have 3 or 4 kids like in this coach watching TV, going down the road with the fireplace on, and with the two 110 outlets right there, you have, you know, also plenty of room for laptops. Again, a lot of people working from the road would really, really love the execution of this coach. Now, as we go outside, I'm going to show you another feature that I love about a Renegade that you don't get in a Newmar. I'm going to do the cab afterwards, but we will. We're going to get to the cab. Jody is so good to me. He's always checking to make sure I'm not forgetting stuff. So the storage that you have here for, you know, if you've got leashes, dog dishes, umbrellas, all of that stuff right here next to the door is super, super nice. But on the way out, so first of all, my Verona did not have this handy little guy. So if you had people sleeping in the coach, they just had to get up early. But on our way out, Jody, I want you to show them the storage underneath the steps, because it's so funny. I just sold a Valencia to a couple that has 4 kids, and all the kids got the the bottom deep step, and all the adults got the middle step. And that's all of their shoes were underneath the steps when I went out to see them. And then I have another feature that I'd like to mention on this too. This material that's right here at the door is super easy to sweep, and it's not like the material you have on a lot of steps that has grooves in it that's hard to get the dirt off of. This stuff, you could like wash it with a hose. It is like indestructible. We're actually using it as flooring. In any of the Ventanas that used to have carpet, they now have this instead. The Echo by Winnebago, the whole entire floor is made out of this material. It's really revolutionized the industry. It came out in 2021 on a King Air. It's the first time we'd ever seen it. Was in the basement, and I mean, it is just fantastic stuff. Now, first and foremost, this coach has the black package, right? So the blackout package is on this coach. It does not have blacked out mirrors. I can make that happen for you. This could also have a caliber 9 grill blacked out if you'd like to do that. These are things that we carry here at the store that are very easy for us. And then, of course, the marriage to Freightliner and Cummins is something I always like to show off. So you got the L9, right? So this is an 8.9 liter ISL, soon to be an ISX, you guys. So for those of you that have been in love with this ISL, it's a tried and true engine that we've been using for years. I have heard rumors that next year is probably the year we'll start to see that ISX 10 liter. This 8.9 is fuel efficient. Again, 1,150 foot-pounds of torque, and also, you know, a ton of reliability over the years. This is an engine you find in like the Dutch Star, the Ventana, the Verona LE, the Tiffins. I mean, so many manufacturers use this engine. And I do also want to mention that you've got really easy access to your windshield washer fluid here, and a spring leaf suspension. For those of you who think the coach has airbags in the front, that would be a Class A. These are all going to be spring leaf suspensions. And then this coach has a 100-gallon fuel capacity, 100 gallons of diesel. And then in terms of the cab, as I mentioned earlier, I am going to show this to you, but we're going to wait until we get around to the other side before I show you the driving edge. But I wanted to tell you, I find it very fun. After you go to the factory a few times, little nuances become very apparent to you. So all of our M2 106 Plus chassis are cutaways. The S2RV is a manufactured chassis that's built without, you know, any kind of cab behind it, because it's designed to be an RV, maybe a school bus, a UPS truck, whatever it might be in the future. But all of the M2 106 Plus chassis are actual semi-trucks, medium-duty semi-trucks, and they're black. So is the inside of your door. So you can see where that paint line is. And I love that you can see this little paint line, and you know that this coach used to be all black. How cool is that? I've never seen an all black RV. I think that would be really hard to keep clean. The white, by the way, I own, and it's pretty easy to keep clean. Oh, I got a bee. Hey, I'm doing a video, dude. All right, sorry about that. So really easy to get in and out. As you can see, there's all these really nice grab handles. So this coach has, you can do 7,423 pounds of junk in your coach, whatever it is that you want. Doesn't include water, so you'd have to add water to that, but that's quite a bit of carry capacity. And then I also wanted to point out, I really love these grippy steps. So when you get in and out of a coach, one of the things you don't want to do is slip and fall on your butt in front of everybody at the campground when you get done with your, you know, long ass drive. Maybe your legs are a little tired, you're just not quite your spry, nimble self. These are going to help you, maintain control, getting in and out of your coach. And because they're grippy like this, if you've been driving through yucky weather, you're still going to be able to get in and out easily. So for people who have big dogs, there's a lot of positives for Class A's and a lot of positives for Super C's. But for people who have big dogs, that mid-entrance and being able to get in and out of the coach without having to get the dogs in and out of the coach because they're trying to follow you out the door, that is a huge benefit, I've got to say. Another nice aspect of the Renegade product, I think you'll hear about quite a lot, is actually these latches on the doors. So these dual latches and the way that these secure, they are bulletproof. I mean, I don't have doors come open on test drives ever in a Renegade. And again, this is that Aqua Hot 450D. And keep in mind, your reservoir is what's giving you that hot water. If you see where that little reservoir is right there, right where that cold line is, that's an overflow tank, but there's a sensor in there. Without adding some actual Aqua Hot juice to this coach, you probably wouldn't have a hot shower without adding some juice to that. Really important, I've got plenty of room over here on the right for a gallon of that Aqua Hot juice. Please, if you buy this coach, remind me that you bought it from me off of my video, and I will make sure that you get a free gallon of that juice. I know it sounds trivial, but you know what? You've never tried to order any of it from Tiger Run. I had a guy once who hired a courier to come and pick up a gallon of Aqua Hot juice and bring it to him up at Tiger Run in Breckenridge because he didn't want to drive down here to get it up, and he couldn't figure out how else to get Aqua Hot juice to his RV without making that trip. It's just hard to find. A lot of manufacturers across the country are selling things like fifth wheels, travel trailers, and they just don't have hydronic systems. So it's just not as readily available. I think when we were low, I went out to visit Elkhart 2 or 3 years ago, and we needed Aqua Hot juice. And Tim was at Renegade then, and he gave me a nice gallon of it, when I got to the actual manufacturer. But we stopped at 2 or 3 places on our way out and couldn't find anyone who actually carried it. So this is another great feature of this LE. So there is one Renegade Verona that has a triple slide on it, but all the LEs are triple slides. But under these slides, you have so much room. It's so cool. With the Star Foundation on the Newmar, it's a little higher, but to have this whole entire long section for any of you who are going to be out fly fishing, that want to keep their poles accessible and easy to get to, you can do that. This air check is because you do have the ability to top off the air in your tires. I wouldn't start from scratch. They're pretty slow, but if you needed to get some extra air in your tires, especially if you're deflating them a little bit so you've got better grip going, boondocking, you're getting onto those BLM lands, and then you want to get back to the correct air pressure in your tires before you get on the road and start driving again, you could do that with that air check. Again, another 43-inch flat screen TV with the sound bar wired outside. And by the way, all of these sound bars can be controlled with a remote, and they can be wired into your phone. So if you just want to turn this on to listen to little Led Zeppelin while you're barbecuing, you could do that. Doesn't mean that you don't have to watch the game or have TV on while you're camping. You can just simply use that sound bar. And then just make sure wherever you go, you have a Jody with you to close that TV, because I can't reach it. You can close it. Jody's so good to me. You guys, I don't know, please like and subscribe my videos. And if you watch my videos all the time, God, I love it when you call me and tell me, oh my God, I watch all of your videos. Put down, this is the 47th video I've watched of Katie's. This is the 286th. Like, put that down in the comments, guys. Tell people I'm useful. Get me out there, please. Okay, another LE feature you'll see in 2026 on the Verona as well. Keyless entry at the door pad, super important. Of course, all of our wheels are going to be 22.5-inch radius tires. These are all Michelins on this coach. And one of the nice things about these 22.5-inch rims is the thicker sidewall that you have here is going to be what gives you that nice give going down the road. So this coach has got a very comfortable drive characteristic driving down the road. And then some more deep storage. On the right there, you see slide locks. So another story about my little family of 2 plus 4. They put their slide locks in, and then mom went outside with her remote and tried to show the kids how cool it would be to open the slide without removing the slide lock. It wasn't cool, Mom. Kind of a mess. Popped off the fascia for the slide cover. We got it fixed, not a big deal. But you do want to make sure that if you are using your slide locks, I really never did, but if you are using your slide locks, you're going down a particularly, bumpy, windy road, just make sure you put a little note that says remove before opening slides. Oh, I didn't show the central vac inside. That is the tube for your central vac. Super handy feature to have. Absolutely use my vacuum cleaner all the time. I used it to clean out the outside of my slides when I was up in Creed. I had a friendly little mouse who had put a nest in my TV bay. It's the only place they got into because I do store all my stuff in containers. But it was nice to be able to get rid of the mouse and the nest with my vacuum. A reversible ball hitch, again, 20,000 pound towing capacity, pre-wired for your Voyager camera system. You've got a 7-pin connector. You'll notice there are no air lines coming out of here. That is correct. We need to add an air line and a ping tank if you're going to flat tow your vehicle. Here at Transwest, not only can we get your tow package done, we actually have a woman out in our Lyman branch at our Jeep store who specializes in ordering you flat towable Jeeps. She knows even like the differentiations between like one model's sound system and how much that includes weight and how much it drops. She can get you a super loaded Jeep for under 5,000 pounds, but she can also help you figure out which vehicles are towable, because that's a really important thing to consider. And even if you aren't going to buy your new Renegade yet, but you need that contact information, text me and let me know. I'll send you her number, because when you buy your next car, you don't want to have to buy your next car and your next RV at the same time. Make sure you get the right one before you buy your RV. Oh gosh, we have a question. I love this. This is a live video.
Somebody's wondering, in the Renegade line, would this be an entry level or a high end?
Okay, so the question that we're being asked is whether or not in the Renegade line this is an entry level or a high end. So the way to describe that, you can get a lot of Renegades built on, for instance, a Mercedes-Benz chassis. So this coach is right there in the middle of the lines that Renegade offers. The top of the line is going to be an XL. That's going to be standard as a 45-foot coach with a DD16. Then you can move into the Classic, where you can get a DD16 or a DD13. And then below that, you move into this 8.9 liter engine and these, these Freightliner chassis. Anytime you get into a Freightliner chassis, even if it's a Renegade Verona, it is a much higher end coach than that of like a Tiffin, which is built on oftentimes the S2RV chassis, or a Jayco, or God, like a Nexus. I can't believe I'm saying the same word. The other thing though that differentiates this against brands like Dynamax, for instance, is the way that they order their chassis is not the same. Every coach that has a Freightliner chassis, it doesn't mean that it's got the same level of robust suspension. It doesn't mean that it has the same level of features. So this is very much a high line Super C. Although it's not going to be that big 30,000 pound towing capacity, 1,850 foot-pounds of torque. This thing's a beast. It's up and down the hills. You're never going to have to stop. It's going to tow your payload up to 20,000 pounds for real. And from a manufacturing quality, there is not a better manufacturer in cabinets than Renegade. Sorry, Newmar, I have one. I'll tell you, like, God, these dovetail drawers at the LE level, that's unheard of. In fact, I've got Newmar coming out next week just to talk about that, because Renegade makes a fantastic coach. So if you were to equate it into the pecking order, it's the middle of the road. If you're asking for my opinion, this is a very high line Super C if you're a guy who needs a 20,000 pound towing capacity. If you need 30 and you're pulling a stacker and you want to have a twin screw, and keep in mind, if you're getting a twin screw, it's because you're pulling heavy stuff or you need more room and you built a bigger coach. But on a 40-foot, yeah, this is fantastic. You could move up into the Explorer level if you want, but for the money, especially this being a 2025, this is a very high line coach and a great bang for your buck. Okay, so we've got two different pieces of fiberglass back here, right? So our bumper, if we get an oopsie, can be fixed without having to replace this entire top end. On the Newmar product, they have a garage back here, which is kind of nice. Renegade builds their bathroom though all the way out to this very end rear wall, which is why you can fit that nice bath and a half in a 40-foot coach. This coach is 40 feet 2 inches long. It's 12 feet 10 inches tall. The power cord is on a power reel. If you leave that little thing uncovered while you're driving down the road and this little guy happens to hop into the hole, it will wear off your very easy and nice to have little grab handle, as well as the rest of the top of your cord. So always put the cover in your grommet when you're driving. Don't leave that open. Not only will you get debris and wet and yucky stuff off the road in your coach, but you will also have to replace your power cord. Speaking from experience. Oh, I left this out on purpose. See how this has got tracks on the top and the bottom to make sure you've got equal in and equal out. And then of course there's the opening windows on either side of the headboard. I just wanted to show how nice and how well finished this slide was. Also, you can see this grommet here is nice and robust. It's going to keep stuff out, and it still has a bit of a floating pocket. That's a really nice thing. So coach has got a little bit of flexibility if it needs to go in and out. Now down below here on the right-hand side, that's for your gravity hose. I don't know who has a gravity hose that fits in there anymore, but hey, you know what? At least you could put something fun in there, I guess. You could hide stuff. You also have your generator. Keep in mind, this is an 8 kilowatt quiet diesel generator. This one has 12 hours on it right now, but there's a little breaker right up here. If you have your generator on and you are not getting any power to your coach, there's a very strong chance that your generator needs to have the breaker flipped. And it's totally fine. It just needs to be flipped, and then you'll have power. Number one thing that we would have Bill answer for you when you called. So another nice feature of this is that they actually use an etching system, so they use a water jet to etch in all of these labels. This is not paint, they're never going away. Very, very consolidated, small water bay. A lot of people like the fact that they've got these traditional valves that you don't have electric valves yet. These are, of course, you know, less to go wrong, right? Your water hose for fresh water is on a power reel. And then I do like that these Queen Liquid Master canisters for your whole house water filter are now clear so that you can see whether or not they need to be replaced. And then if you didn't see it, the cable connection for the park is also in there. And again, we are using sea level tank monitoring systems now. You can read all of your tank levels on your phone. This does not have the FlowJet macerator system. If you wanted to have us add that to this coach for you, the benefit of having a macerator with a pump on it is that you could pump gray water out of this tank. So having 150 gallons of fresh water, honestly, it would be very unlikely for you to use more than 25 or 30 gallons of black water in the time that you would use up all that fresh water. So sometimes you'll be doing a load of laundry and you'll need to pump some extra gray water out. If you want the FlowJet, let me know, I can add that for you. And then this is, again, just another one of either the gray or the black water tanks. And again, these are all things that you can watch the capacity on your phone so you can know when you need to dump, which is nice. Now, of course, these are your Victron inverters. You'll notice that there's two in here. There is an extra inverter. And what that means to you is that you can actually have your air conditioning running while you're going down the road without having your batteries, or I'm sorry, your generator on, which is really, really handy. Let's see, fireplace. Yeah, so this it only has the 2 lithium ion batteries. The same system in the Superstar is almost double. So kind of interesting food for thought there. So wired, pre-wired. I was looking to see how many solar panels I have on this coach. Okay, so we have 3 solar panels. This has got 600 watts of solar. And I know a lot of you Renegade guys are like, oh, only 6, I got like 8,700. Okay, solar is great. You have a generator. If you want more solar, we can put more solar on this. Sometimes we'll have up to 6 panels on here as opposed to 3. But keep in mind, like that really nice like King Air down there, has 4 120 watt panels on it for 480 watts of solar. So having 600 watts of solar is pretty robust. Having that extra inverter and a Victron management system is pretty amazing. And then again, these are 270 amp hour Dragonfly batteries. You could have 3 of them in here. We do that sometimes, so if you wanted to have an extra installed, you could. And then of course you've got your house and chassis batteries both right down here. And then your def tank is 6 gallons, it's right here. Your saddle tank for your coach is right here, again, 100 gallon fuel capacity. And I do hear people say, oh, you never need to run your block heater. Well, they say that until they have a $167 diagnostic charge to turn off their check engine light. So if it's cold out and you know you're gonna leave in the morning, just plug your freaking block heater in. Why not do it? Like, what's it gonna do? Like, you had to come out here and put the thing in the hole. It's not a big deal. Okay, so Jody, show the front of this coach really quick. Okay, here we go. Now you can come back. I just didn't want everyone to see my butt when I got in the cab. All right, so one of the nice features of this coach, of course, you got your telescopic wheel. Another nice feature is that you have a stock control for your engine brake and for your transmission. Can you see that up here? Try to turn that a little bit. I knew he was gonna come up here with me. So drive, reverse, and neutral right here. And then you'll see that M, that is for manual. You can still shift this as the same Alison transmission you're used to. Again, your engine brake's right here. And then you'll notice that we have this new digital dash. In 2026, they have a dedicated rear view camera. I can add that for you. It's about time that we didn't have to add it. It's a really important feature. The Garmin, of course, you can program from the driver's seat, but having that dedicated rear view camera is super nice. This is a brake controller. So you do have a standard brake controller, 4-point equalizer, smart leveling system, a nice hydraulic leveling system, standard dash control. Again, trailer cameras already pre-wired up there. You've got 1 locking diff on this coach versus the 3 that you would have if you had the twin screw axle. If you want to peel out in front of your friends and show off, you can. If you want to turn off your lane tracking package, you can do that really easy. You can turn your footwell light on because you dropped your keys, which I do all the time. And then they finally put the hazard lights on this S2RV Plus chassis in a place that's easy to read. And then your digital setting up here, I don't have the keys with me. I think they're still in the sink, but it doesn't matter. It has integrated tire pressure monitoring systems and automatic headlights. I think that's enough. Oh, steering column controls. Pick up your phone, answer it, cruise control, and then all of your menu functions right here, and then your windshield wipers are down here on the stock. But automatic headlights, I'd say that the most important thing to talk about on this coach is that if you do use your TPMS system for this coach, it is not integratable into your tow vehicle. Let me repeat. It is not integratable into your tow vehicle. So you still need a tire minder system. If I could write a letter to Freightliner, strongly worded letter, God, you guys, just put TPMS systems that are extendable in these coaches. But again, things that we can help you with, we can get your airline and ping tank set up for you so you can flat tow your vehicle. We can set the Air Force One up on your vehicle so that you can flat tow an F-250, an F-150, any kind of, Ram 2500 like I have, a Jeep, whatever you'd like to do, we can do all of that here for you at Transwest. And then also you'll note that we have heated power mirrors right here, and there's a nice little light that shows when the heat's on, power windows and power locks on this coach. A loud ass horn. Jody's like, God, Katie has scared me. But yeah, so I am gonna show you the cab. Always, right? Always. One of the things I gotta say is I can very honestly tell you that I probably know more about most RVs than most people you'll ever meet because I have one. In fact, it's right there. Wait, go this way when you go around, Jody. Say hi. Happy customers? Yes, happy customers. So they're staying down here. They're getting some work done on their radio. As you can see, our campground is pretty full. My white Super C is here. She's getting a porch light fixed and the steps adjusted. But all of these coaches are here for service because this store has both house and chassis available, and we have camping on site. So Roy and Tracy, if they're walking down here, it means that they're probably going to our employee lounge, or sorry, customer lounge to hang out for the day. Someone's probably coming down to grab their coach to bring it in to start working on their radio. That's a really nice feature. So you can come in on Sunday night, pull up, get camping, and then we take the first 2 walk-ins at our chassis side. So if you need an oil change, if you need to get, you know, any kind of standard service done on your coach, there's no waiting list. We take the first 2 walk-ins every day, Monday through Friday. We're open until 11:30 at night. We've got fresh water on site as well as a dumping station, and again, places for you to camp. Most importantly, we have a 2 to 3 hour walk around when you take delivery of your coach. We let you stay in the campground until you feel like you've got all your questions answered and you know how to operate the coach. And then after you leave, we have a dedicated employee by the name of Bill who will answer his phone, who will respond to text messages, and who is paid to do nothing but help you stay on the road and camp. So this is really, there's not another place to buy a coach that's better. Before we close up this video, I am going to close up this engine, but you can again take a look inside here. Jump points for your chassis batteries are right here in the front. They're on different sides per coach, so if you can't find them over here, they're over there. Really not a big deal. But again, this is really, to be honest with you, I just got lucky that I bought an RV here and thought I should do this for a living. I had no idea that I was working for such a great organization when I started. Of course, this is Transwest Truck Trailer RV. This is the location in Frederick, Colorado. We also have a location in Grand Junction and Belton. This is stock number 5N241449. Again, 5N241449. My name is Katie O'Neill, coming to you live like I do every Monday. You can always find me at RVs Inside Out, or you can just call me. 303-562-8659 is my direct. Again, 303-562-8659, or send me an email and let me know how I can get you on the road and camping.